We are at an exciting benchmark for the year. We have hit our first quarter, which means we have an interesting set of stats to compare Q1 of this year and past first quarters to past years. So let's dive in. Hi everyone, my name is Jade, co-founder of Legendary Real Estate Services. As always, we're going to do a recession watch. This time around, I'm going to show you literally a side-by-side comparison of how the recession of 2008 stacks up with what's going on. I'm going to show you some new positive trends in our market and reasons to be watchful, yet optimistic about this year. Here's that side-by-side comparison. In the 2008 housing crisis, we had a buyer's market. We had over 6 months of inventory. In fact, we were in the hypersupply stage of the real estate cycle. And what happens when supply goes up? Prices plummet, which is exactly what happened back in 2008. We also had subprime lending. That was super fun. Ask me how I know. And we had a lot of delinquent mortgages contributing to that hypersupply. We also had plummeting interest rates. We don't have that now. What we have is a seller's market. A seller's market is less than 4 months of inventory. We have low supply. I don't know about you, but I can't see an overabundance of homes for sale. What happens when there's low supply? That boosts prices. So right now we have pretty stable prices in our region, not just stable, but rising. We have strict lending standards. We also have historic highs in equity and historic lows in deficiencies. We also have high inflation, cost of living, cost of food, and rising and high interest rates. Not high compared to the 70s, but still high compared to the past 10 years. And we have an unstable job market. So this is months of inventory. Basically, if no new homes came on the market today, how long would it take for the current demand to absorb all of our inventory? And right now we're at 2.19 as of March. You can see we're in an upward trend, but it's still pretty much in that upward market. Why are we in that upward trend? Is because we have a bump up in inventory. It's still not as much inventory as there was last year, but it's more than we've seen in December, January, February timeframe. That absorption rate is corresponding to inventory. The reason home prices are going to remain stable in our area specifically is we have a decline in housing starts and permits. Nationwide, you can see that decline already, and this corresponds to rising interest rates. Rising interest rates cuts into builders' profit margins, so they're getting a little bit uncomfortable with the volatility. And you can see some construction projects having problems because they had that floating interest rates. And now with interest rates rising, it's putting a lot of builders in some uncomfortable situation. The same thing is happening with permits. Here in Walworth, Racine, Kenosha County, you can see a decrease in permits according to the Wisconsin Builders Association. Many people are worried that we are in a housing recession in our area. This is an important graph because it shows the median prices as of first quarter of this year in Southeast Wisconsin as compared to past years. And you can see that steady upward trend. The same thing, Walworth County, you see that steady upward trend. That same upward trend is reflected in Kenosha County. So I ask, how can we be in a housing slump in our region if we have steady rising appreciation? So these stats are the median prices of March of 2023 compared to March of 2022. Walworth County, we saw a 5% appreciation. In Kenosha County, 4%, Racine County, 6%. So again, how can we have plummeting housing prices if we have rising inflation? This graph shows how our region stacks up against other regions within Wisconsin in terms of median prices. This is another graph from a different source, also confirming the appreciation that we experienced this past quarter as compared to last quarter. It's not just our region, it's also nationwide. We're still experiencing home appreciation. Some areas, like say some parts of Northern California or some parts of Texas, they're definitely feeling that decline because they overbuilt and they over appreciated. We did not. Even when there is a recession, we have historic high equity. Homes sold last year at the median price range. And on average, sellers at the median price homes had about $100,000 of equity. So even when there is a recession, whether it comes down by 10 or 20%, we are going to do okay. It's not going to be fun, but it's not going to be catastrophic like it was the last time around. I'll bring us back to pre-pandemic levels, which would suck, but again, not catastrophic. Switching over to delinquencies, we did see an uptick in foreclosure filings, but we are still at historic lows. As far as foreclosure completions, again, we are still at historic lows. Interest rates. Back then, we had plummeting interest rates. Now we have rising, steadily rising interest rates. So what does this mean from a supply standpoint? Supply will continue to be limited this year and probably into the first quarter, at least, of 2024 as a result of the decline in housing building permits and starts. For buyers, if you're competing for a well-maintained, competitively priced home, expect multiple offers. If it's not competitively priced, not well-maintained, it'll probably sit on that market. Don't lowball them because they're going to just wait you out. Put in a fair market value, back up what you want to put in with numbers. If you're waiting for a foreclosure to just swoop in and buy everything up on fire sale, don't hold your breath. For sellers, we're still in a housing shortage. So while this is not as lucrative as 2020 and 2021, it's still a good time to sell because of all the equity that you still have in your home. And right now, again, with the shortage, you're going to do well as far as pricing. The good news, when we do have that recession, we're going to be, for the most part, fine in terms of equity, in terms of keeping our home and not having to worry about a bunch of foreclosures and homes going underwater. Switching over to demand. So this is the days on market in Walworth County. It shot up during the winter time. It stagnated in January, February, but it came down from 60 days on market to about 47. The reason being is that pre-spring market was actually pretty robust, which is exciting. And this is actually reflected nationwide. This graph is from Redfin. It is their home buyers index. And as you can see, nationwide, demand picked up in March, which again, like I said, bodes well. This is not from a bunch of investors. In fact, investors, as a result of rising interest rates, they have pretty much stepped out of the market and they're sitting on the sidelines because rising interest rates are cutting into their profit margins. So they're waiting for the market to stabilize. As a result of less competition from investors, first-time home buyer applications have been creeping up. This is the best time right now, all things being equal, for first-time home buyers. Switching over to sellers, this is the sales to original list price ratio. So say you list your home for $100,000, you sell it for $105,000, you're going to have over 100% sale to original list price ratio. Conversely, if you sell it for $95,000, you're going to have less sales to original list price ratio. Right now, we're stabilizing at 98%, which is healthy. We want to see this oscillate around 98 to 100%. It's showing a balanced market. We're not in a balanced market. We're in a seller's market. But because of the lack of supply, we are in that artificially balanced market. So despite the low inventory, because we do have an affordability issue and higher interest rates, we have an artificially balanced market. Okay, what does this mean? So for sellers, if you price your home properly, you can expect to see fewer, if no, price drops. Buyers, you're going to have fewer competition from those investors compared to pre-interest rate hikes. Work with your agent to put in a fair market value offer and definitely show the comps to back up your pricing. That's going to make a really good case for that seller, for that listing agent. If you come in with a lowball offer, they're going to probably pass or reject your offer and just wait you out, hope for a better offer. We had some interesting stats last month that really bode well for the economy. Not only did mortgage rates dip a bit, but applications were up 19%. Google searches for homes for sale up 44%. Touring activity for the month of March was up 20%. This pre-spring market is very unusual, and this surge bodes well for the economy. So hopefully this is a leading indicator for a more robust 2023. Keep in mind, this was despite the backdrop of all the bank failures, which created a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty. We still saw that surge. A lot of it probably had to do with a dip in mortgage interest rates as a result of a stampede of speculators and investors into treasury bonds, which pushed up bond prices and drove down interest rates. All that bodes well for the economy moving forward. So I covered a lot of information. If you have any questions, there's my email, or you can go to our website, click contact us, send me a message, and I'll get back to you pretty quickly. You can also follow us on Facebook and YouTube. I post all of our videos there. So thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Mailman. Dogs don't bark. Stay calm. There is no mailman. There is no mailman. There is no mailman. There is no mailman. Just stay quiet. Stay quiet. Alright. Everybody's calm. See? Nothing to see or bark at. Okay, sorry about that.